Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming to hang out tonight. Welcome to Entropy Emporium. My name is Kian. I'm going to be your storyteller for this evening. Before I hand it over to my players to introduce themselves for tonight's episode of Blooming in the Rot, our Invisible Sun actual play, a couple of housekeeping things really quick for Entropy Emporium. First off, and most importantly, we are currently and are continuing for the foreseeable future to raise funds for the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. Um, they're doing much needed work on the ground in Palestine in the Gaza Strip. It's very obvious why this is important work to be done right now. If you cannot donate, we completely understand. We ask you to continue to spread the word, spread awareness, stay aware of the world around you. Recognize that there are things that need to change, and do as much as you can to be part of that change as best you can. The other thing is that if you like what we do, or if you don't, come feel free to hang out in our Discord. It is mostly us being feral and yelling at each other. There's a whole channel dedicated to pictures of our pets, so you can see Tater Tot all the time, or as many times as JT wants to post them. Um, but yes, feel free to come hang out. It is where we post our casting calls. It's where we talk about our shows. It's where we just talk about life in general and be nice, fun, cool people, and hang out with each other. So definitely come see what we got going on. The other thing is that this is a horror game, so there will be horror elements brought up. If at any time that is not your jam, we completely understand. Take a step back, take care of yourselves, be kind to yourselves and each other first and foremost. So no pressure to stick around if there are elements of this game that you're like, I'd rather pass tonight. That is totally cool. You can come join us for a different another show that Entropy Emporium has going on. We will go over all of the channel shows at the end of the show tonight. Um, that I believe is all that I have for channel introductions. So let me hand it over to my cast. We'll go around in overlay order. If you can tell me who you are, who you're playing tonight, and what your character sentence is. So that's going to be the your heart, your forte, your foundation, sort of all of that stuff that makes your character who they are. And I'm trying to buy time because Nox, don't grab a snack or a drink, Nox. I was trying to time it right. Nox, if you can kick us off.
I'm back! Hi, everyone. What am I supposed to do?
Who are you? Who are you
I'm
playing?
Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Who are
I'm
you playing
playing
tonight?
Bellamy. Her name is totally Bellamy. I've been gone for 3 months. Give me some leniency, everybody.
You are
Oh,
all good,
that's it.
Taylor.
And the sentence that I totally remember and don't have to pull up on my phone, which I don't know where I put. Bellamy is a stoic apostate who eats knowledge, and her name is totally Bellamy. We know it isn't at this point, but gotta keep that going. And I am on my second Dr. Pepper. And hi, and I'm also not playing Candace, but I feel like I should mention Candace. True MVP. Someone
Candace
else
is
talk,
always
please.
present. We'll hand it over to JT next.
Hi, I'm JT. That beautiful, beautiful cat you just saw is my pet Tater. He's a chaos demon, and he scratched me really hard before I put him down. I am playing Stellan Faust, pronouns they, them, who is a connected stoic of the Order of the Weavers who strikes deals.
Thank you kindly, and we'll send it over to Ava.
Hello, my darlings and dears. It's your Madam Ava here. I use she, her pronouns, and so does my character Isra, who is an aromatic empath of the Order of Goetica, who plumbs the depths of sleep, and maybe wife of God. Who knows? Shrug.
Shrug. And over to JD.
Hey, I am JD. My pronouns are he, they. I am playing Alistair, just Alistair, pronouns they, them. They are an itinerant empath apostate who hosts a legion, question mark.
Unclear and vague right now, It's a suggestion. And as I said at the top, my name is Kian. My pronouns are they, them. I play everybody that my cast does not play. So every other NPC, every other weird world entity, little critter buddy that is out there, that is who I get to voice for this evening. So with that, I have drawn the first card of the evening from the Soothe deck. The card that I have drawn is the Jackal. If I can get to it in my alphabet. I don't know my alphabet. There it is. The Jackal. Value 0, mysteries, rats, mirrors, and stone. Meanings are intimidation, power, ruthlessness, dark magic, and necromancy, which we were talking about before the stream. This intimidating fellow is a dread figure to be certain. The jackal represents everything non-sphere about Beasley, threatening displays of destructive power, dark, soul-twisting spells, ruthlessness, unforgiving magic that taps into death, demons, and worse. Power for power's sake, he is a selfish, megalomaniacal figure, willing to do whatever it takes to get what he wants. The jackal is the nemesis of the Mysteries family. Many believe, however, that he is a literal being and not just a symbol on a card. Some believe all the royalty cards show real immortal beings. If he is real, he is some kind of diabolic figure that not only uses dark magic, but offers it to others willing to use his methods. Everyone receives a -1 to all ventures in this scene, and Stoics receive a -2 to all ventures in this scene. So, we begin with Bellamy. Bellamy, you have been pulled into shadow before. Occasionally, a V-Slay who has exiled themselves to shadow will suddenly be jarred by a memory. Maybe they step over the wrong piece of concrete at the wrong time. Maybe the sun just looks a little bit too fuzzy, whatever it may be, but they find themselves yanked back into shadow. Shadow, of course, being the world that you and I live in as individual people. Um, it's been a while since you've been gone for so long. So getting back into actuality, it takes a second to kind of orient yourself. It's kind of like getting your land legs back after you've been at sea for a while. But you are back at home. You find yourself in your kitchen. It's quiet. It's empty. Candace is there, as Candace always is. But other than that, it seems very peaceful. There seems to be some things shuffled around. You would guess that perhaps maybe Alistair was making use of the space while you were gone. Doesn't look like anybody has broken in and stolen anything or gone through things or anything like that. But things do seem a little bit shuffled. What do you do?
Alistair had left a note.
Alistair did leave the note. Can you remind me what the note said?
Absolutely not, because I have no memory of it at all. I'm pretty sure it was very much like gone out, be back later. Like nothing involving all of the chaos that was going on. Just a very simple, straightforward, I was here and you weren't, and I wanted you to know that I'm thinking of you.
It's a very simple note. Certainly things have progressed not at all. Certainly things are very normal. Everything is exactly as you left it. But there is a note from Alistair on the counter. What do you do?
Muted myself. Bellamy's gonna pick up the note, kind of look at it for a bit, and how long has Bellamy felt like she's been gone?
It feels time doesn't pass normally necessarily, so it's a little hard to say. It feels like you've just been asleep for like 2 or 3 days, which is in and of itself a novel feeling that you probably need because Bellamy does not get enough rest. Um, in our time wise, you've probably been gone about 2.5, 3 weeks. It's been a long time since you've been gone.
Okay, Bellamy's gonna try to figure out like for her confirmation. She's gonna like look and be like, I like figure out that she's been gone for a couple weeks and be like, no. Okay. She's gonna make sure to feed the cat. Make sure the magical food refiller thingy is working. Um, and last Bellamy remembers, aka last Knox remembers, is a giant fucking hole opened up. And we are all going to, I think, Stellan's or Isra's. And because Bellamy does not want to go to Stellan's unless absolutely necessary, she's gonna get some stuff together because everything's foggy, but she feels like we were going to the Pale. I should probably get magic stuff. Um Maybe a book. and head over to Eastras to try to figure out what's going on. And also be like, hey, y'all, I've been gone. A note?
You are heading to Isra's neighborhood. Um, Isra, remind me, did we establish what the house looks like right now?
We did. It's a bird cage, a very, very fancy bird cage.
Thank you.
Because
Uh,
symbolism.
you would hear Bellamy through the grapevine from our newspaper boy pass along the grapevine that what East West House looks like right now, what the description of it is. Even though you know where it's located, it's always helpful to kind of get a sense of generally what visual it is that you're looking for. You head over to East Res, and um, as was described, there is this very beautiful, ornate bird cage, and you walk right up, and I imagine the door swings open for Bellamy since Bellamy is already established as a friend. The door swings
Yes.
open, and you are at Eastra's place.
Isra?
Oh, I hear someone. One moment, please. Just as happy as could be, but still looks like there's like a hint of redness behind the eyes. She just glides down the stairs. Oh, is that Bellamy? We missed you.
Hi. Yeah. Uh,
It's been some weeks. About two, I believe, since you last were with us.
do people disappear that often?
From my understanding, but also sometimes, most of the time, I just go to sleep for those periods of time. So who am I to really judge?
That's fair. Sorry, I woke up, came, whatever, some, I'm here.
I'm happy that you're here, and I'm happy it looks like you got some sleep. I'm very proud of you.
Oh, oh, and then she like gets red, cause Isra is still hot, and,
A little
and,
sad, but always hot.
and, she's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I guess I woke up, I,
Hmm.
this is what rest feels like. It's very confusing. But besides that, do you know where Alistair is?
Oh, they're upstairs.
Okay.
Stellan's also here too, just as a heads up.
Okay. Um, am I misremembering things? Like, I felt like a hole opened up and Carter might have fallen through it, and then something tried pulling us into the hole,
Oh,
or
maybe that's what happened to him. Oh
I think
no.
it was the Empress, the
No, you're remembering it quite well. Although the Carter scenario, this Carter situation, I personally wasn't clear on. That probably would explain why we haven't seen him. That's
I
bad.
figured he just fell into a hole because but we did give him weekends.
We did give him
But it's
weekends.
been weeks, you said.
Yes. Yes. About 2 weeks, give or take a couple days.
Okay, so like two people disappeared at the same time, roughly.
Yes, but at the very least for you, I knew that you were in shadow. One of my summons informed me of it.
Holy shit, that's impressive.
Hmm.
I know. Okay, well now I know where I was.
Hmm. Let's get you up to speed as to some of the things that happened.
Uh,
Stellan was in prison for a little bit. That was
what?
amusing.
What? Sorry, that's Knox and Bellamy. What? What the fuck did I miss?
Apparently, one of their contacts is a higher up in a higher position in the Reaper,
The Hindasa.
the Hindasa, And Stellan didn't go through the proper channels on how to meet with him, and so they ended up in prison for like a tiny bit. They're out now, as I mentioned, upstairs. Let's see what else has happened. Oh, Alistair's gonna look a tiny bit different. They had some conversations with themselves and the Legion, and that developed in a different type of development. Just be aware of that. And hmm. Yeah, I think that's about it. She's not saying anything about Elsa.
You didn't say anything about yourself. What have you been doing?
Oh, I've been just. Well, I did try to find information about dreaming scenarios. I did get to go inside of a couple people's dreams with their permission, and that was fascinating. Um. Oh, I did send a fruits basket over to the Hindasi because Stellan was very rude to one of their employees. But that's really it.
All of
Oh,
that,
I'm a
all of
third
that.
level goetic now. That's also another thing that happened to me.
Oh,
Yay!
congrats!
Thank
That's really
you.
cool.
Thank
Oh, love
you.
that for you. All
Hmm.
of that, that sounds like an eventful 2 weeks, but also like everything about that seems exactly like things that would normally happen. So I'm not surprised.
Exactly.
Honestly, the most surprising part about that is Stellan being in jail, not for the reason they ended up in jail, but the fact that Stellan would somehow allow themselves to get arrested and not piss off the people enough that they're still there.
Hmm.
The gift basket is why they're out. Okay. Um
Well, no, we were able to get to the person that Stellan was trying to see. I just gave the fruits basket because I felt bad. I had to be a little bit of a Karen to help get Stellan out of
uh
prison, and I didn't really appreciate that too much. I don't
yeah.
like doing that.
No, that's not really that doesn't seem like your vibe. Also, Alistair, so are they just looking more sad, more tired? Like,
Youthful. I think youthful is the best way to put it.
okay, I changed my statement. That's the most surprising thing you've said.
It's best that you speak with them yourselves. Let's go. And she'll
Okay.
just lead me upstairs. Oh, yeah, there's also ice cream.
Oh, okay.
It
Give
was
them
bought by Stellan. I don't know if that changes your mind, but it is ice cream.
honestly, honestly, I'll take the ice cream even if it's from Stella. And wait, there's not like a contingency on eating ice cream, right? I wasn't there when the deal was made. I'm gonna eat the ice cream. It's fine.
No. There's no contingency. Come on.
That feels like a trap. Okay, it goes up.
Bellamy's here.
Hi, everyone.
And true to what Isra said, Alistair does look different. They look healthier. They look less tired. They look rejuvenated. And their hair and eyes are different as well. And they wave and give a small smile to you, Bellamy. Did you get my note?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Got the thanks. And thanks for feeding the cat before you left. Appreciated that. You, uh, yeah. Like leans over Isra. Do I say anything about what? Like about how they look? Like
Only if you want to.
what happened? What's happened recently? It's been a while.
Well, I found a part of myself that I'd lost. And the Legion is different.
Like the part of you that was happy, or like
I don't really know that they were happy, but they are younger. So draw your own conclusions.
okay, I'm gonna assume just like a little less traumatized. Looks over at Stella and jail.
Yes. It's actually quite comfortable.
How? Okay, I'm gonna take some ice cream. Just like, so what's the plan? Where's Carter? Did Carter fall in the hole?
It's on one of those weekends you guys insisted I
A
give him.
weekend is 2 days, maybe three, four if it's a long one. It has been 2 weeks.
Yes, I know. I imagine he'll turn up eventually.
Is anyone else here more concerned about Carter than Stellan is?
Yes, I'm also concerned that Stellan, you're not concerned since when you tried to reach Carter, you weren't able to.
Well, I figure that that is because Carter is in a place where he cannot be reached. That means one of two things.
Like death?
No, of course not. You can reach people if they're dead. You can't reach people if they're on a different sun or in shadow. But luckily, thanks to somebody insisting I finish a spell and then immediately dipping to shadow, I have a spell to go look for him when it suits me.
You say dipping to shadow, like I was just like, be right back, and like willingly left.
Willing or not, you did ask me to finish the spell that I can go look for Carter with anyway.
Thank you for finishing the spell, Stellan. Okay. It's been 2 weeks. Is there still a giant hole in the ground?
No, no, that's been patched, closed once it took whatever it took from Alistair and you.
It took something from me? Did that happen when I was here and I just don't remember that?
It was trying to take you specifically through the rift.
Okay, okay. Okay. Took something from. Okay. Y'all are like a alarming lack of concern here, and maybe because to me this was like 3 days ago, I think.
Well, I
I
think
feel
the
like I
ice
should
cream
yawn,
might
but
have
I don't.
something to do with that because it tastes like sunshine.
What tastes like sunshine?
The ice cream.
Oh fuck yeah! And just start taking a cup of it, and start eating the ice cream.
There's also the fact of the matter that this is what you call a suicide mission, and when you're staring a suicide mission in the face, your choices are to panic and flounder or remain as humanly possible calm.
Yeah, there's calm, and then there's making a plan, and like just a slightly, just a little bit of concern. But I'm glad to see you're still Stellan. Good to know some things never change. Um,
They don't. Speaking of which, you have a few contracts to sign.
I have one contract to sign. I can't
As
make
a
another
human.
contract if I'm on another plane.
Yes, that's why I waited.
But I only have one contract.
It was hyperbole for the sake of dramaticism.
I'm autistic. I can't. I don't do hyperbole. Can you be just like no? Okay, like rest of the day. Let's just assume that me getting thrown back into shadow and then yanked back was maybe a little confusing, maybe a little jarring, and I don't have the time for your over dramatic bullshit. So can you please speak plainly to me?
Oh yes, no, we can wait until morning. Ice cream's the primary focus of tonight, per Alistair's request.
Okay. Okay. That helps.
Would you like some tea, Bellamy, with your ice cream?
I would love some tea.
Does anyone else like some tea?
I would.
All right.
Thank you.
Stellan?
Quite all right, thank you.
All right. Isra's gonna leave the room for a little bit, just to avoid any potential conversations about LSAO because she didn't really give much of what happened with her, and she doesn't want to talk about it.
Minute Easter leaves the room. So is she okay?
No, but I've been told not to say anything, and I'd like to extend that offer to you.
Are you telling me not to say anything, or are you telling me that you're not going to say anything about something about me?
No, I believe the general consensus is let her be the way that she is for now and ask her later when it's less sensitive.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Got it. Okay.
It's never gonna be less sensitive.
Do we have movies in actuality?
Do we have the moving pictures here?
You have how fun. Um, less so movies, more so items that hold reenacted memories. So it's not like it's a DVD. It is something that you would have purchased or somehow collected that had what would be the equivalent of a film on it, people acting it out, a full length film, but it's only yours. You're the only person who would have access to this unless they had sold the same product to somebody else. So, yes, in a way. Would Isra collect things like this?
I think she would, yes.
Okay,
Ah,
so
do
then
they have
yes.
people's dreams?
Mm, I would imagine so. I think it's more so when she does her dream walks, there are we know that dreams sometimes like have fragments of truth, but then sometimes they're just very, very nonsensical type, like very, very odd. So you can't really make much out of it. I think Isra sometimes picks up recordings of those types of dreams where it's just so batshit that you can't really take anything legitimate from someone's life to not be like she doesn't want to overstep and be very like nosy at people's dreams. So it's that's the very weird ones that you can't parse out who that person is. It's just something silly.
Can somebody have had a dream of like How to Train Your Dragon? Can we watch somebody's dream of How to Train Your Dragon?
It is absolutely, you all know that originally this was a movie called How to Train Your Dragon in Shadow. What it is now in front of you is nothing like that because it's the dream that somebody had of being in the film. So everything is a little bit off and everything is a little bit out of sync with each other. But it's as close as would be possible in actuality. Yes, you have that.
Oh my god, it's like How to Train Your Dragon, but you're not Hiccup. You're like some random person in Burke watching the events of How to Train Your Dragon unfold.
Pretty much. You all have your evening with ice cream and the approximation of films and tea. Isra, you notice occasionally that glimmer of gold and blue that you associate with Eliseo. And it's almost like whenever somebody walks up and is waiting to be acknowledged before interrupting, they don't want to actually say anything. They first want you to turn and acknowledge them and say something, and it shows up and it lingers, and when you don't acknowledge it kind of drifts away, and then later on in the evening it happens again and then it drifts away. Um as though Eliseo is lingering, is definitely around, but is trying very hard to not push their presence onto you right now. Um, at any one of those intervals, would you address Eliseo?
I think she would, but it's a very it's one of the moments where she has left the room to be like a little bit alone, and I think the only thing she'll really say is, I've been walking alone recently. I was wondering if you resigned from your position.
It felt right to give you space right now, but I am always here to walk with you.
Is it out of concern or for your own self protection?
Everything I do out of self preservation, except for when I'm with you. That is a risk I knowingly take each time.
I've been finding out recently that you are not well liked, and I don't know how to adapt to that.
It wouldn't have occurred to me that others' opinions of me would be of importance. Is that something that you value?
It's more out of concern. I've always enjoyed our time, but the more I hear, the more I worry how much that time is at risk. I don't want things to develop in a way where I have to make a choice.
Eliseo materializes themselves as best they can, kind of using the refractions of the light around them to find a spot where they can take full shape. And surprisingly to you, their eyes open. Um, they do not open their eyes. This is not, they are a being that exists with their eyes closed at all times. They've never explained it, you've never asked, it's just something that has been accepted. But they open their eyes, and there's this strange moment where it looks like this mask is coming over their face, and they kind of wave their hand to wave it away. Um, and they reach their hand out, palm up to you. Do you take it?
She'll always take her wife's hand. Yeah.
It feels very solid, despite you knowing that this is little more than a projection. It looks like whatever Eliseo is putting into this, their existence in this space right now, they are doing as much as they possibly can to be able to actually hold your hand in this moment. And she says, um, I never want to put you in a position where you have to choose between me and something else. And I know that that will come regardless. I will always choose you, Isra. You can know that for certain. And I understand if you cannot promise the same.
I can't fully promise because I don't know the full truth.
I know. Tell me, these opinions that others have of me, is it because of what they know of me or because of what you know?
Mainly because of what they know. I have gathered from what you have alluded to that you were not my original guardian. That much is true. That you have different names, but I know you as Eliseo. I know that you have very strong and strange power, but something bigger keeps holding you back from telling me the full truth of things. And I think the most important thing you've told me is do not trust you. And I've also heard that from another who called you by another name, and, and another person who called you by that name said that you were dangerous and they aim to hunt you.
Eliseo reaches up with her other hand and kind of touches at your temple. And there is this brief moment where, in your mind, because this couldn't possibly be happening in front of you right now, everything kind of falls away. It's just you and Eliseo, and there are these beautiful stained glass wings extending from her back. And then in a flash, it's gone. Is that what they called me?
Yes,
It's a name I don't use often. The only version of me that matters is the version that I am here with you. Dishonest as that is sometimes. I wish I could tell you more. And perhaps I should, given you're going to the Pale, given you're going where I cannot follow. You're putting yourself in danger, regardless of what I say. There are entities in the Pale that are bound to the Empress, Empress Jalad. She is the one that you should be most fearful of. Though, if you meet any of these warriors of hers, you would probably think otherwise. They are not charming creatures. But the Empress herself is something to be feared. I expect that she has made some sort of, what's the word, agreement with an entity of the dark. And that entity will also be waiting for you there. I cannot follow you to the Pale, but the stained glass angel is the only thing that can stand between you and the demons of the dark if it comes to that.
you speak as if the two of you are severed in a way.
I do my best to make it so. I prefer Eliseo. Of all of the faces that I've worn and all the entities that I've been assumed to be, this is the one that I enjoy the most.
I enjoy it too, although your wings are lovely.
Thank you. Um, Eliseo reaches into their pocket and pulls out what looks like just a small piece of stained glass and holds it out to you and says, "If you need me, break this, and I will do everything in my power to be at your side."
I want to hope that it won't come to that, but I'll keep that in mind.
Use it as you will, and I will be here waiting for you to return.
Will you tell me everything when I do?
I will try.
I guess I can accept that for now. I should go back to them. I don't want them to worry.
She reaches out and kind of brushes your hair a little bit, the hair that's framing your face, and just says, "Try not to cry. It's not something that suits you. You're much too lovely to cry."
Well, I would try, but there's a certain unknown entity that seems to fancy me that pushes me just a little bit because she's too stubborn.
Cannot imagine who that would be.
Mm. She's gonna lean in to the hand, and then she'll reach out with her other hand to pull Elisea to her for a kiss before stepping away.
There is a it tastes like magic because Eliseo is using everything within her power to make herself physical and real at all points of contact that you have. Doing everything that they can to be present in this moment with you.
I can't help but love her so much. Why are you like this? Issa will pull herself together and go back in for a lot more ice cream than she has already.
The rest of the evening is relatively uneventful. Is there anything that anybody wants to do? Any conversations to be had with yourself or with each other before you rest for the evening? Okay. Um, you go to sleep. What is the general game plan for when you wake up? What are you guys thinking of doing?
I have a contract to finalize and 3 extra passengers to the Pale.
And is it after the contract is finalized immediately to the Pale? Any stops that anyone wants to take along the way?
I think I'm good. I have my summoning components. Well, the ones I can carry.
A jar of
All my friends
flesh.
are here.
My jar of flesh.
Um, you go to sleep. It is a quiet evening. Issa, do you try to dream walk that night or do you try to just get some rest?
I think she'll try to dream walk.
What's up, Nox?
I forgot. I did tell Ava that at some point I would let Isra dream walk in Bellamy's dreams.
She'll do that tonight.
Everyone lays down for some rest on well, actually, in my head this was a sleepover. Is it an actual sleepover or does everybody go home?
Alistair stays. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for Stellan, but Alistair stays.
Bellamy will stay.
There's enough bedrooms. People can stay if they want.
Stellan, do you stay or do you go home?
Stellan stays. It's in the spirit of the night.
It is a full sleepover. Um, Everyone settles into their own beds where they're sleeping for the evening. Isra, you are meditating, getting ready to dream walk as you have previously, and you kind of find yourself in that sort of limbo state um, where you can see the colors and weaves of magic that all come together to form this space around you that is both comfortable and exciting, and it feels cozy and it feels like home in a way that your physical home could never quite feel the same. um as usual, Eliseo is there. As usual, I say, as one would usually expect, Eliseo is there this time. um she stands off to one side, smiles at you when you arrive. As I said, I'm always here to walk if you would like to, but I will not assume your desire for my company if you want to take this walk alone.
I think for tonight it should be best alone. It is. I'm attempting to go into the dreams of a friend, and I know she has mentioned briefly a stained glass angel, and I think maybe at least for precaution, a little bit of separation will be fine.
I understand. Eliseo curls up on one of the couches, kind of like a cat, kind of circles up, lays on her side, grabs a pillow, um, balls herself up to get cozy and wait for you. But as done previously, the doorway appears. Um, arched and simple, and the door swings open, and there's a dark space, and you are more than welcome to walk through to the other side to begin dream walking.
Heck yeah.
I'm going to draw a new card for this dream walking sequence, and I have drawn the Crowded Tomb,
Mm.
which is
Fitting.
just a little bit. Value 1: Secrets, Ravens, Books, Flame. Meanings: ending, despair, completion. The tomb lies at the end of all stories, the reward for the greatest monarch and the lowliest beggar. Of course, the tomb is crowded. It grows more crowded each day. Mourners crowd around the tomb, but it is even more crowded within. So many deaths, so many endings. Crowded Tomb is the location card of the Secrets family, and thus represents a permanence or is related to a physical place. This means that the finality that it represents probably occurs in a specific and significant location. Pale magic is enhanced, green magic is diminished, and gallants receive a +1 to all ventures. You begin walking into Bellamy's dreams, and at first it is kind of gives the same vibes of that very, very strange film that you all watched earlier in the evening because there are flecks of shadow filtered across all of the spaces since Bellamy was just in shadow. Um, so it's um, a little bit challenging to start to parse through. Everything feels almost nonsensical. Um, and then slowly things start to come together. Things start to make a little bit more sense. What does Bellamy dream about? I'll ask you, Knox.
I think that because she was just in shadow, it's a little bit fractured in a way. It kind of looks like there's two dreams stacking on top of each other. One of the memories that she had been dreaming about the past few days when she was in shadow, and then another of her finding her sibling on the bottom. So like things that actually happened, um, like small glimpses of like them as kids, and then them at the like university, I guess. Um, and then of course when she found her sibling, and then um, being able to pull on the bottom is like being able to pull on that thread, being able to give them a hug again. Um, Small things like being in the house with them again, and like just a normal life where she has her person back.
You're kind of walking this duality of the two ways that Bellamy's lives have or could have played out. You find yourself walking the duality between the two. Um, but you see these images, you see two kids playing together, seeming to have just an enjoyable time in a backyard. You see two very young V-Slay practicing their magic very chaotically. You see them running around, um, showing each other the spells that they're coming up with and things like that. But everything is, it's you can tell that the magic is very unrefined. It's very childlike in the way that it is showing itself. Um, in the glimpses of shadow, you see two people going to the movies together and being able to enjoy a film in the afternoon, and then you see them going to dinner afterward or out for drinks or enjoying dessert. You see them gathered around with other friends for a game night in somebody's house. And the final image that you come across is the Bellamy that you know standing above the cold, quiet body of this other person on the ground. You can taste ashes in the air. You can taste magic in the air. And that is kind of the final scene that you would kind of walk up to, I guess, in this sequence of things. What do you do?
Random question. During this entire time, did I hear speaking occur? And an extension of that, do I happen to hear a different name for the one I know as Bellamy?
You how, I guess, a question for Bellamy. How, at what point is Bellamy honest with her own identity? Is she even honest about it in her dreams? Or does she still keep it a secret from herself?
Bellamy to herself has always been like from, except for that moment when she introduced herself to her sibling.
Hmm.
Since then, she has been Belle because she found a person who would be there, and she was like, I want to be as much as like them as possible.
Mm.
So she knows her name. It's very rare for the other Bellamy to ever use her like name.
Would just call her
Uh
Belle.
yeah. I can roll a dice, let's see if
That's
you
up to
find
you.
it.
Sure.
Alright. Odds or evens. Ava.
Evens.
Alright. Yeah. You hear it.
Heck yeah.
You hear it in like a fight.
Ooh. Okay. I think outside of that, I think the only thing Issa's gonna do is see if there's anything tangible for her to take out of the dream to present to Bellamy. She kind of did that with Alistair, so she wants to kind of offer the same thing to Bellamy. If there's something tangible, or maybe if she interacts with the people, they can pass on a message to Bellamy that she can take back to actuality.
You have interacted with not necessarily the dreamers consistently, but with the other entities in dreams before. So in this case, it would be this other person, this other Bellamy. It's interesting because even in both the memories that are playing out from shadow and the memories that are playing out from actuality, it's almost like it's a movie on repeat. This is not an actual person right here.
Mm.
And this is something that you have come across before, but it's not something that you have a lot of familiarity with. You at least know this is what happens when somebody dies and they are existing purely in somebody else's memories in their dreams. The dead do not dream in the way that the living do. You're not walking a dead person's dreams, you are walking the living's dreams who are remembering the dead. And all that they can do is exist the way that the living remember them. And so trying to interact, it's almost like you certainly will go and try and say something to it, but it's almost like this entity kind of glitches for a second. It doesn't really understand what to do, and then it picks back up on whatever part of the memory it was playing through because it only exists as Bellamy remembers them.
Mm. So Isra can't fully interact with Bellamy's sibling, or the sibling known as Bellamy, or she can't interact with the person that she knows as Bellamy.
The sibling.
Okay,
The sibling
got
is
it.
is the one that, yeah, you're not able
Okay,
to
I was about
interact
to be
with.
like, is Bellamy actually dead? Oh no. Okay. Um.
Surprise!
Okay. Yeah. She'll try to interact with her Bellamy and see if she can get anything to bring
Sure.
back.
um it is as any sort of dream interaction would typically go. This is an entity who exists very near and dear to Bellamy's heart. This is sort of those unexposed, those raw edges of people that we don't always let see the light of day. So this Bellamy is emotions to the extreme. The enthusiasm is very enthusiastic. The sadness is absolute grief. The anger is fury. It's that very raw emotional elements of Bellamy. Um, which one do you interact with? Are you trying to grab something that is from the shadow side? Are you trying to grab from when Bellamy finds their sibling dead? Are you
Hmm.
trying to grab from when they're younger? What are you going for?
Actually, because we're going into the pale, is it possible to grab something that is kind of like a tether to be able to find a sibling in pale?
Ooh. So you know that Bellamy and Stellan had kind of discussed feeling a thread that Bellamy wanted to follow. You don't know what
Mhm.
that thread led to. Whether or not Isra thinks it's the sibling is entirely up to you. Um, but you at least would have overheard them talking about, yes, there's like a thread that I want to be able to re-find on the other side in the pale and hold on to it and follow that. Magic can be sort of, I guess, made into a signature in a way. I would say
Mhm.
that that's probably the closest that you could get, is that this, on the Beastly side of things, you could try to find if there's some kind of like a magical signature to the
Yeah,
sibling.
she'll like to
Um,
try to find that.
okay. Go ahead and roll me. Let's see. How are you how are you going about this? What is
She is a sibling died in shadow, was it, or in
you're
actuality? I
seeing
can't
them
remember.
dead in actuality?
Okay, she's gonna like throughout the memories of actuality, she's going to try to peer through the ones that had very strong emotions attached to it to
Okay.
see if maybe there's like an item that sticks out that would be a good concentration of that energy.
Roll me either interaction or sorcery. We'll call this a
Um,
CR 8.
okay.
So you can spend up to 3 bene if you would like to. You can spend hidden knowledge.
I will spend two bene
Okay.
uh to cut that, and let us do. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I need to double check. What all can I do? And we'll do a hidden knowledge, and it's going to be associated with one of her order abilities of identifying a spirit. So, kind of like fine tuning it to be finding energy associated with a spirit.
Hell yeah, absolutely. So that brings it down to a 5.
7.
Nice. Um, you are able to latch on to this sort of signature. You get the sense, weirdly enough, the magic kind of tastes like cinnamon to you. Tastes
Ooh,
cinnamony. But you get that flavor in your mouth when you're interacting with the remnants of this magic, and there's a distinct difference between Bellamy's magic and the siblings' magic that you can tell that something like they're so tied together, they're so close to one another, but they're distinctly different that you're able to separate this one from the Bellamy that you know. Um,
okay.
but yeah, tastes like cinnamon.
Tastes like cinnamon. All right. I think that's all she wants to do in this dream, unless something kooky happens. But she'll make her way out.
Nothing kooky happens. You do see the edges of the dream. There seem to be, if you were looking at a sheet pulled tight between two points and somebody was trying to push their way through with their hand, you can kind of see that. It looks like something is trying to push its way into the dream, but every time that it starts to get close, there's this strange flash of blue and gold that you're seeing. And you get the sense that whatever this is, LSAO is absolutely not allowing any sort of intrusion on this dream right now.
Period.
Uh,
Is she able to? Does she know if that's like maybe angel or demon energy?
uh roll me, we'll just call it a sortilege roll. V-Slay Audacity roll, just to see what you get.
Okay. 5.
Nice, right down the middle. It's not demonic, it's not angelic, it is dark, it is heavy, but it doesn't quite feel like demonic energy necessarily. Um, it's if you spend time focusing on it, it would remind you of that place LSAO took you to.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
it feels unsafe, and it feels like LSAO is being very pointed about not letting anything disrupt your dream walking here.
Got it. Okay. Sounds good.
But you head back to that limbo space. Eliseo still appears to be in a cat nap, curled up around a pillow, just cozy as can be. Looks at you, sits up, and smiles when you come back.
Thank you for protecting the dream. Um, was that trying to interrupt Bellamy or trying to interrupt me? Do you know?
It seemed to be focused on Bellamy.
Okay, good to know. You did mention maybe the Empress making the deal was dark, so probably something good to keep in mind.
Did you find what you needed?
I think I found something that could help with her search, so I think so.
Good. I'm glad.
I think I'll sleep here and wake up.
Um, Eliseo kind of rearranges themselves and there's space next to them to rest if you so choose.
Heck yeah.
Nice and cozy. Um, you wake up back in your own home. You can feel sort of an echo of Eliseo's lips on your forehead, giving you a kiss
Oh.
goodnight. And the rest of you slowly come to. You wake up in your spots in Isra's home. It is the next day. It is time for things to begin. Um, Let me draw a new card. I have the spell deck like right lined up exactly in my line of sight. Whenever I'm looking at the camera, I can see it out of the corner of my eye, and it's working perfectly. And it only took me until the second to last episode to figure out how to remember to draw a card for every new scene. But whatever,
Hey, it's
we're
better
making it
late than
work.
never.
It's
Mm-hmm.
true. It's called growth. I have drawn the empty gallows. Value 3, notions, cats, clocks, wind. Meanings, rescue, salvation, solution, favorable judgment, and escape. The gallows claims no victory today. Today we are granted a reprieve, or we make an escape, or someone rescues us. Whatever the reason, the threat is gone. The problem is solved. The empty gallows brings a feeling of relief, of gratitude, and newfound purpose. It is a sudden extension of life. The empty gallows serves as the location cards for the notions family. Pale magic is enhanced, green magic is diminished, and ardents receive a +1 to all ventures. So, I believe first thing that we have to do or to take care of is a deal that needs to be squared away. Is that correct?
I sure hope so.
Stellan,
Someone wants
you
to go to the Balezon. It's not me.
you wake up and do you just go looking for Bellamy first thing?
No, Stone will wait in whatever common area is available. They'll cook breakfast if nobody else is awake yet.
Um, Isra, what does the house look like today?
It looks like a cathedral.
Ooh, lovely. Lots of stained glass going around.
Yeah.
The kitchen has shifted and it is a little bit farther than you remember it being, Stellan, because there is suddenly a lot more space. The house has not lost the coziness factor at all, but it does seem bigger. Seems to be a few more steps between rooms now. Um, but you are making breakfast when who would be the next one down? Does everybody just kind of gather on their own time? Is anybody pointedly not going downstairs or to the general gathering area?
Easter will be downstairs.
Okay.
Alistair will also be downstairs.
Fuck it. Bellamy will go downstairs.
Stellan, you are making breakfast when slowly the rest of your companions come and join you.
Good morning. I hope you all like pancakes. I saw that we had the ingredients, and it's been long enough that I figured I'd try my hand at it again.
Oh, well, that's very kind of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I trust you all rested well enough. Bellamy, I trust you slept at all.
I did. I'm not used to this.
And I'm very proud of you.
Okay then.
Perfect.
Did
Well,
you sleep?
of course.
You say, of course. I don't. Lots of people don't sleep.
Lots of people who don't have any interest in being the most efficient they can be.
Are vampires real in this world? Kian.
I wasn't sure who you were asking. I think so.
Okay, my new headcanon, or it's my character. It's can Bellamy might think that Stellan is a vampire because they wait to be welcomed into people's houses.
That is true.
Yeah,
What makes me a
you're raising a
vampire?
good
You
point.
heard it here first, folks.
We haven't seen Stella near running water, so
Mhm.
There's a sink in Stellan's house.
Yeah, but we haven't seen you
we
use it.
haven't seen you
Alistair
near running
watched
water.
Stellan use it. Stellan
Alistair
made
will
dinner
never
for
tell.
you. Now, I do hate to just get down to brass tacks, but unfortunately, we have a very deadly travel ahead of us. Uh, Miss Bellamy,
Stellan.
we have something of an outstanding arrangement to be made.
Uh, yes, we do.
That said, I am not so remiss as to assume that Miss Namont has not come up with some extravagant sleep based discovery that may or may not help us here.
it just so happens I think I did.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, you're not getting out of it. You still need me to take you to Pale.
That
Yeah,
is
but
true.
maybe it's like you need less of my soul or blood.
I don't want your soul.
They didn't say anything about the blood.
I'm not a
Vampire
vampire.
confirmed.
I'm not a
Are they
vampire.
looking paler since Carter's been gone?
Mm.
I'm just saying that's the only thing that makes sense for no weekends.
Miss Namont, the information.
Yes. Oh, she digs into her sleeves and she pulls out, what does the item look like? I know it smells like cinnamon, but I don't know what the object is really.
Um, this looks like a scroll. Um, that when you un un what do you do to scrolls?
Unfurl
Unroll them,
them.
Unfurl?
unroll them. I was gonna say unwind, and that just didn't feel right. Whenever you unroll the scroll, um, the words won't solidify themselves. It looks like sand that kind of just keeps dancing across the front of it and disappearing at the edges. It never falls to the ground. It's never like there's an overflow of sand or anything like that. But it looks like a pretty normal sized scroll.
I was able to travel through your dreams. Thank you again for giving your consent for that. And this one had a strong enough signature to what I'm assuming is the reason why we're going to the Pale. So I was able to grab onto it.
Oh. Does Bellamy know what this is?
Um, this looks very much like well, right off the bat, this is Vanshin magic. This looks like a Vanshin spell scroll. Um, this looks similar to the scroll that you assumed may or may not have been used when your sibling died.
Oh. Fun.
There's nothing particularly identifying to it, but that would be the first thing that comes to mind.
Thanks, Isra.
No problem. I'm sorry that it seems to cause you some pain. It was the strongest signature that I could latch onto.
It's what's life without pain?
Well,
Miserable.
Did you just say miserable?
we're not going to question that.
I have so I'm telling you, There are signs.
I understand. There is another bit of detail that I would like to say, but I'll save it for after the contract because it pertains to our travels.
Okay.
Very well. Bellamy, my requests are relatively simple. First, I would like you to sleep at least 3 nights a week for a total of 8 hours.
Yeah! Yeah!
Oh my god!
If only because I think Miss
Yes.
Namad would kill me if I did not include that.
I wouldn't say kill. I would just be very, very sad.
Even worse,
How many days in a week again?
3 nights a week, 8 hours each night. Does not have to be consecutive.
Okay, that was the concern.
I just need to ensure that you are not performing any microsleep related magic mishaps. Furthermore, I would like at any given time throughout the week for the next, oh, Alistair, what's your contract length? A year?
Something like that. So, Stellan, I just want to put a thought out there real quick. You do something on the surface kind like demonstrating some concern over Bellamy's health and well-being, and then you turn that into I would not want your lack of sleep to cause any potential damage or ramifications for the magic you might be doing. Maybe just stick with that first part of valuing Bellamy and wanting her to be okay.
Your input is noted and disregarded. I will not be dishonest about my intentions.
That's a great email signature for a work email. Your opinion is noted in disregard.
As I was saying, for the next year, I would like to be able to call on you for non apparently life threatening tasks as I can, Alistair. In exchange, I will take you to the Pale Sun and I will offer you the same training that I am offering Alistair.
A b- Tasks within my own ability, right? Just clarifying.
As
I know
long as
that
you
wouldn't be
understand that
efficient.
I know what your own ability is better than you do most days.
Are you saying you know my own ability better than I do?
Not right now, but after you're done training.
That's concerning. Okay, that's it. That's all you want.
Well, the follow up clauses are based on honesty about any proprietary information you would have been sent to receive, anything that may affect me specifically, and the right to ask me any questions and in return receive an honest answer.
Okay.
Still, wave of the hand, contract appears. I will offer you a feather with which to sign.
Okay. Signs contract.
And what does Bellamy's contract turn into? I believe Alistair's was a pocket watch.
um,
Carter's is a key.
I'm gonna say it turns into a flower that would go on Candace.
Stellan will wrap it around their key. Come on.
That was so lovely.
They said it's not life threatening, so I'm assuming they're not gonna be like taking any blood.
No.
Okay.
On to the information that I have. Bellamy, while I was in your dream, something tried to get in.
Like a dream walker?
No. Um, something not so kind. Um, due to the intervention of my guardian, they were not able to get through, but the energy that I was able to read from it was dark. Something dark. And with more clarification, it seems to have been wanting you. Um, with those clarifications and conversation, it seems there may be suspicion that the Empress maybe made some dealings with the dark. So be cautious, all of us. The darkness will be probably waiting for us in some way, shape, or form, especially for Bellamy.
I
Why
do
does
love an opportunity.
everything always wants to kill me? I'm not even upset about it. I'm just like tired.
And that's why you need to sleep.
It tried to kill me in my sleep.
But it didn't.
That's because of your guardian. Which tell them thank you, by the way, for me. Which but that I don't have a dream guardian. I don't know. Like I think I'd have to be a dream walker to get a dream guardian, right? Or do they have like dream bodyguards that you can hire? Like can I get one on loan?
Well, hopefully, the work that we do in the Pale would halt any of that being necessary, but I can look into it for you when we get back.
That would be lovely. Thank you.
Hmm.
Incredibly
S-
optimistic to say when.
question, Stellan. Can those 3 days be 3 days in a row?
Yes, all I said was that they did not have to be consecutive.
I'm just checking. Okay, so stay up for 4 days, sleep for three. Okay, just making sure my options are here.
It's what it. Once you hit 5 days, that's when micro sleeps start happening in the human body. That's all.
Oh, I didn't know about that. How long is the
Mr. Mott,
longest I've gone without sleep? Alistair, how long? How long is how long have you known me to go without sleep?
Longer than 5 days.
Oh, well, hey, I should be really efficient now. Thanks, guys. Okay, let's go.
Bellamy slept for like 4 days, and she's just on her prime.
Like Bellamy's like super powerful now, apparently. Hey, Kian, since I slept, can I level up?
Not quite how it works, but I appreciate you asking.
But you're such a cool GM, and I've been gone for so long.
Not quite how it works.
Damn it! Thought I'd try though.
Um, Deals made. The only step next is to travel to the Pale. So while that is looming on the horizon, I think that's perfect timing for us to go ahead and take a break. So we will be back in like 10-ish minutes. So sit tight or go stretch your legs, pet your pets, take your meds if you need to. But whatever it is that you do, we'll be back here in about 10 minutes. So be right back, y'all. Where's the button? There's the button. and welcome back, everybody. Um, so last we left off, it is time for us to cast a very big spell, a very big game-changing spell that could, in theory, hopefully, is supposed to get us over to a different sun. Stellan, what kind of preparations do you make for this spell?
I think Stellan finds one of the clearer spaces in this now chapel version of Isra's home, clears just like as much space as they possibly can, puts the scroll out on the floor, and then gets their violin ready. And that is pretty much the extent of their preparations.
Fair enough. Um, Casting a spell like this on this scale is not something Beastly do in the day to day. This is a pretty rare thing. So there's no exact science behind how it will impact the area around you, how to line everything up perfectly, how to make it all go exactly smoothly, just because it's such a powerful spell and it's something that is pretty rare in the realm of Beastly. Um, the rest of you gather around Stellan as the spell is cast. Anything that anyone needs to do last minute before the transportation begins. I think you're muted on your mic, maybe Ava.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Okay. Um, while Stellan's doing this spell, I think Isra is also going to do a protective circle just to make sure no damage is done while we're doing our transportation at the very least.
It's probably a smart move.
Mhm.
Um, with these spells being cast, Stellan, what does it look like when you cast a spell like this?
I think the last time Stellan cast a spell this big, it was as much a performance as when they won the awards that they won in Shadow and keep with them. Um, it is full, like, posture, some dance steps, very minor, nothing grandiose, but the song, while they usually play something that is pre-composed and has a violin solo, this is of their own composition. And before they begin, they will look to everyone. No matter what emotions you may feel during this performance, you need to hold on to the magic. I don't want you getting lost in other suns. That's not very useful to me or to you. And they take a deep breath and close their eyes and they begin playing. Um, it is more visual than most of their other spells are just sound based, but um, this one is drawing more physical magic out, I would say.
Can you rephrase that for me? Sorry, my brain is moving a little slow.
It is like a lights show with the accompaniment.
Got it. Magic begins to pour out from the violin from your hands as you are casting this spell. Isra, it is just when you are finished laying the protection spell around this space that the spell takes full effect, and it is like a kaleidoscope of lights starts a display. Um, and it takes a moment before all of you realize that it is slowly progressing through the order of the path of the suns. The lights are moving in a very specific order, and they're going faster and faster and faster until all of those colors start to bleed together, and it becomes just this very pale, bland color that seems to wrap around all of you and slowly draws you in closer together as though one particular unit, and then everything goes quiet. and all of a sudden, it is silent all around you where you are. Traveling from sun to sun is not something that a Beasley does with any level of casualness or comfort. It's not like going on a nice, fun vacation. You travel the suns when you are either looking for deeper meaning, when you are searching to excel that higher level of magic, or because whatever it is that you need cannot be found in Indigo, which is a pretty rare thing. Traveling the suns by magic is even more rare. You could take a sun sailor if you have the money to do that. That costs you ridiculous amounts of money. Um, Traveling via spell, bypassing the path of the suns and going directly to where you want to go. It's a pretty rare thing for a V-Slay to do. And yet that is what you all are doing here. And all of a sudden you find yourselves in the middle of a dried out, dusty field. There are a few plants, but it's mostly waste. Everything seems dead, everything seems dry. Even breathing here, that it feels like the air is kind of scratching the inside of your lungs as you're breathing in and out because it's that dry and that empty here. Um, Before we move forward, I'm going to draw the next card. Oh, how interesting. This is so exciting. I love my job. I
And
have
now I'm
drawn
scared.
I have drawn the
Yeah, I'm
sealed door.
terrified.
No, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. It's not a bad thing necessarily.
Kian suddenly has a bunch of eyes.
Be not afraid.
Be not afraid. Value 7, Secrets, Ravens, Books, Flame. Meanings are delay, inaction, barriers, and unchanging. The door holds more promise than a wall, but a sealed door is perhaps worse for the egress it suggests and then denies. This barrier prevents us from moving forward. It is delay, wasted time, a failed attempt. Still, a door with a keyhole suggests both the existence of a key and something valuable on the other side. Of course, the door in the family of secrets is sealed. It keeps the secret safe. The implication, of course, is that great discoveries lie on the other side, if you can only get there. Silver magic is enhanced, gold magic is diminished, and gallants receive a +1 to all ventures. Um, you land in the middle of this barren, decrepit field. There's nothing around you. You don't see anything or anyone. There are no structures there. You are simply in the middle of this vast, empty space. The sun that is above you that you can see is sort of blotted out by the dust in the air. Um, Everything is this pale gray, light brown color of just washed out sand everywhere that you can see. But you are, at the very least, you can confirm no longer an indigo because there's nowhere an indigo like this. What do you all do?
Mm, I would like to do a protective sign. Um, I think she'll try to shape it in like maybe a worry stone, that just to have like a pocket of protection while we're traveling.
Easy enough for you to do.
Hmm. So are we searching now?
That is up to Bellamy, whose thread it is we are here to pull on.
I mean, I thought aren't isn't somebody from Legion also down here?
Alistair, do those matters concern you anymore?
I can't say they do not concern me, but I do not think that is our purpose for being here.
One rescue mission I think we can handle then.
We should probably also check to see if Carter did fall into a hole into the pail.
Oh, right. Stellan will pull out the key and click on it.
You click on the key, and there is finally that feeling of response. It feels like it catches. It's almost like whenever you put a key into a door and you're trying to wait until it actually catches before you can turn the lock. It feels like it finally catches. Um, it's not immediate, but after a few moments, you do see in the distance somebody walking toward you who looks beaten to hell, seen way better days, but looks like Carter.
Well, Miss Namad, it seems that the Pale has taken everything but everything from someone but sorry, something from everyone but you.
I guess I don't really have anything of interest for it.
Oh, I disagree greatly.
The way you said that is concerning, but I'm not going to dwell on it too much. She's gonna summon her spirit and
Whoa,
Oh no.
Oh no!
they
We'll
got her.
never know.
They got her.
Nothing of interest except for you. He gets yanked out.
Well, while we wait for Ava to come back, maybe. Um, Carter approaches again, looking like he has seen better days. Absolutely. Um, the flowers that have woven themselves and are growing from the scarring on his face are wilted and tired. His eyes are, he's got bags under his eyes. His shoulders are slouched. Oh, oh, welcome back.
Okay. Thank you.
You were saying something before you got cut off.
Yes, chalice of wheel or woe for Carter because it's
Oh,
the healing chalice.
Carter needs it. Carter desperately needs it.
And she takes a sandwich out of her pack.
What?
A sandwich.
Stay ready.
She is mom. She
I
has
didn't
snacks.
imagine we were going to be here long enough to need to eat.
Well, he looks like he needs something.
Also, did
Also,
not
Carter.
aren't you
find
supposed
him
to eat
here.
multiple times a day? This is gonna at least take a day.
We can
Can
eat
you
when
do
we get back.
can you do magic efficiently on an empty stomach?
Carter over here.
Doesn't need to do magic. We're rescuing him now, obviously.
Carter drags his way over, looks absolutely grateful at the sandwich. I don't I don't understand what you're doing here, but I am so happy to see you. Where the hell are we?
In the pail.
Oh, that that explains a lot, I guess. And is like wolfing down this sandwich, eats it maybe in 2 bites. Like this poor boy needs a hug and a juice box and a blankie so freaking bad right now.
We don't have juice boxes. We have a chalice. Here you
We
go.
We do have the chalice.
we are only here because I was able to modify the spell you used to help Dagon get dirt on me.
For what it's worth, I never actually got to use the spell. So,
Is that what the spell was for?
Originally, yes. You and I have a conversation to have, and it does involve your contract.
I look forward to it. Honestly, anything to get out of this place.
Have you
Yes,
been
of
here
course.
since you fell?
Through the rift? Yeah, it's been some time. There's a lot here that wants to try to kill you. Not you
Yes.
specifically, just people in general.
Mm.
Just wants people dead. I think I don't really know. Um it's kind of been a wild time. Well, why are you all here? I am honored but cannot imagine that you actually came through to find me.
Well, I would have been here sooner had I not believed that you were on several consecutive weekends in a row.
You
We are also very confused. Don't worry.
We did try to explain what a weekend is.
It didn't work. We're
You
sorry.
wanted me to give him breaks. I was extending extra leniency. Anyway, we're here for her person, technically.
the
I didn't
one
know
that
you were here.
The one that you had me.
Researching, yes.
Got it.
Well, very plainly, I do believe I narrowed it down.
To be fair, I also thought you might be down here. Granted, you weren't my priority, but I did care.
I'm just glad you're all here. I hope that you will be able to get me out, is all that
We
I
will
can.
we will protect you until we are able to leave, but first we need to at least try to locate this other Bellamy.
It would be much appreciated. I need everybody to make a perception roll for me. This is just to see what you get roll.
Oh boy.
I got a 9. Is
I got
higher
an
is
8.
good, but not 10s, right?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Tens is zeros.
I got a
9 and
6.
8, a 6,
I got a 6.
a 6. Okay. Um, that's okay. Easy enough. All of you can see out in the distance from the direction that Carter came from. The sky looks not darker, but just dark. It looks like whatever sun is bleeding through and filtering through the dust in the air here above you is not quite making it out in that direction. It is the only semblance of any sort of difference in the horizon that you can see is that it seems darker in this one direction than elsewhere.
Carter, what's over there?
Aside from something terrifying that tries to eat the sun, I don't quite know.
What a fun place we've come to.
That is a word for it. Listen, what are you. There were some structures back there. I don't really know. I didn't have time to look into anything. I've kind of been on the move for the last 2 weeks, trying to just keep my head down.
Bellamy, do you remember the spell I had you do to keep hold on the thread?
Yes.
You're going to need to perform it again. I don't have the energy to help you this time. I need it to protect us if we get assailed by anything.
So you need me to do that right now and keep it the entire time, or you want me to do that in case something starts attacking us?
I want you to do that now and hold it until something starts attacking us. Beyond that, we'll have a general direction, I imagine.
Okay. Do I roll to do spells?
Yes, so go ahead and roll. We'll call this, since we are in the pale, it's a lot easier now. We'll still put it at a CR5. Um, this would be a sorcery roll for you, so you can spend sorcery bene if you would like. You can spend up to 3 to decrease what the CR is.
How many more hours are we streaming? 1?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll spend 1.
Okay.
Do I wait, does it refresh next session?
It refreshes whenever you rest. So you all will need to rest before your bene starts to get refreshed.
We're going
Technically, we're
camping.
in the pale, which is like death, the ultimate rest.
It's the least restful sleep you're ever gonna get, but
It's Bellamy. Fair, fair, fair. Then no, I won't spend it on this.
okay.
All right.
CR5.
That's okay because I got a 5.
Nice. Very good. Easy enough to cast. You cast the spell. You are able to slowly start to sort of draw those threads back together and start to weave them back into something that is resembling that path that you initially were trying to follow through whenever you came through the pale. Um, you have a general direction, and it unfortunately does point you toward where both the structures that Carter saw, but also where it seems a lot darker, where something is eating the sun or eating light. But it points you in that general direction. But it does give you a form of a path to follow.
Okay. Let's. Anything we need to do before we do this?
Carter
No.
ate, drink of the healing cup.
Mhm.
Um, okay, let's go. And Bellamy's gonna start walking towards where she's being pulled.
You begin walking. Um, Alistair, as you go to take a step and you take your first step, you go to take another, something catches on your boots. In my head, Alistair wears boots. I don't know if this is actually true. Is that true?
This is definitely true.
Okay, good. That makes me
Absolutely
happy.
true.
Something catches on your boots, and you glance down, and there is almost like a clawed hand kind of reaching out from the sand, kind of grabbing around the front of your boot. And you see it and kind of shift your foot to pull it away, and the hand crumples away into dust, and you're able to step freely.
Alistair continues walking with much more attention paid to the ground around them.
Roll me a perception. We'll call this a CR6.
I would like to spend a bene on
Okay,
that.
bring it down to a 5.
And that is exactly a 5.
Wonderful. Um, you see coming up through the ground bones and sort of what looks like plant life that may have once bloomed into something, but now looks like it might just kind of be there to just catch on shoes and kind of tangle up. Nothing looks alive, nothing is moving, but something about that feels, something about that sends alarm bells through your head. Something about that hand that didn't feel like just a little bit of, you know, plant, once living plant life that got tangled up around your shoe. It looked very much like a clawed hand going to pull at your shoe. Um, we'll hold on to that for
And
now.
I just have to ask, it didn't look like the hand that went after me before.
It did not look like the hand, just a
Okay.
clawed hand. Correct.
Okay.
A good point of distinction.
Yes.
There's
I,
too
I
many.
thought that was important to check in. There's
Yeah,
too many hands.
there are too many hands. You all are walking along. Um, what order is everybody walking in? Who's leading the charge?
If we have a general direction and Bellamy would hesitate to go first, Stellan would take charge.
Okay, Stellan's going first. Who's after Stellan? Bellamy. Begrudgingly, it seems.
I'm imagining Alistair's at the end and Isra is ahead of them.
Okay. You're walking in sort of in a general marching order. Fun fact, in Invisible Sun, GMs do not roll dice. I just
And
rolled a
yet you
dice.
did.
I just did. I just did. And
No.
it's
No.
it's funny to me. It's very funny
Take
to me
it back.
I mean it's funny to me that it landed on a 0. On a 10, it landed on a 0. I did not expect that. Uh
Oh no.
did
The
not plan
wacky
for this
Great.
particular
It's the
contingency.
TPK encounter.
It's the TPK
What's the
encounter.
wacky thing that's gonna happen?
The magical flux. I mean, luckily for y'all, magical fluxes are already happening all around. This I did not expect. Um, you all are walking, and it is a relatively quiet venture. Almost too long in the quiet. It's starting to put you on edge. Your shoulders are starting to tense. Your teeth are starting to grate. Um, because you know that there are things here that want to kill you. If nothing else, Carter has told you so. Some of you understand it to be personal vendettas against you, and yet there's nothing coming out of the woodward to approach in any general direction, one way or another. Um, and then Stellan, as you're walking along, you hear your foot step on something that does not sound like just regular ground. There's a crack to it, a crunch. And you pull your shoe back and you look down, and it looks like a small bit of porcelain on the ground, like a small little figurine is under where you had just stepped.
Big Stellan cocks an eyebrow and then just bends down to pick it up.
You lean down to pick it up, and it's a little figurine that looks like you. Looks like a little Stellan. Its arm is now smashed and kind of broken away from where you had stepped on it, but it's a little figurine that looks like Stellan.
Stellan whistles a mending spell on it to see if that does anything. If no effect, we'll just tuck it in their pocket.
Easy enough to fix. It becomes whole again. It's not an outfit you've ever seen yourself wear before or would ever see yourself wear, but it is certainly, at least the visuals, the facial expression, the hair color, the eye color, it all looks like you. Um and you continue walking, and now your eye is kind of a little bit more attuned to the ground around you. You notice another one before you step on it that also looks like you. And next to it, a little farther away, is one that looks like Isra. And a little farther from that one that looks like Bellamy, and from that one that looks like Alistair. And there are lots of these little figurines that seem to be scattered all around. None that look like Carter, you'll notice.
I love a domain that knows how to mess with your head.
I would say that at this point, the other three of you are also noticing these little figurines. Each of them, you can tell who it is, but each one is in a different outfit. The expression is slightly off from what you had seen previously. One might look like it's laughing, one might just be smiling, one might be crying. Um, but you're starting to see.
Kian, there's
Go
there's
ahead.
there's no way I won't hate the answer to this, whatever it is, but do they look like Alistair looks now, or do they look like Alistair looked before?
These all look like Alistair looked before.
Okay. I don't know if that's better or worse. I said I would hate that answer no matter what.
It looks like someone was unprepared for any Alistair-based changes.
You all hear something laughing. It's very light laughter, very musical, very soft. And in the distance, you finally see a figurine that seems to sort of rise up from the ground. Stands there, cocks its head a little bit, cocks its head a little bit farther, and then head snaps back to where it just seems to be looking at all of you dead on. Doesn't do anything. What do you do?
It's not coming towards us, right? Or is it
Correct.
okay? It's
It's
just
just,
watching.
yep, just standing still right now.
I'm gonna wave at it.
You go to wave at it, it waves back.
Hello?
No response.
Have a good day. Keep
What energy does is it too far away to get a read as to what type of creature it is?
As of right now, yes, you can just tell that it's something humanoid.
Okay. Hmm.
Actually, on that note, Kian, I have to see what this is and to quickly track that. It's somewhere on my sheet. I'm not sure where. Would you say that this creature is within short range?
Not yet.
Okay. Then I'll hold that for a moment.
Okay. Yeah. I would say right now you all are about medium range from it.
Is it standing in the way of the direction we're going in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we do have to go that way.
You hear a little bit of laughter once again. And it seems to, at first, it seemed to come from a pointed direction, and now it seems to be coming from a different place. Kind of like it's dancing around you a little bit.
The puppet is not the beast. It, like these figurines, must be a toy.
Hmm. So should we ignore it or?
That is up to you all.
I mean, it waved, so right now it doesn't seem like it wants to hurt us.
Everything here wants to hurt us.
I'm trying to hold on to some optimism. We're essentially in hell. Carter doesn't want to hurt us, and Carter's been here for 2 weeks.
Obviously, I meant beings native to this plane don't not want to hurt us.
Okay, well, again, you're the one who said we need to maintain some kind of calm.
Calm, not naivety.
Issa's gonna take 2 steps towards it to see if it changes anything.
You take 2 steps forward. Nothing seems to happen. The creature is still standing there.
Okay. Mm,
Could Stellan try to whistle their magic sight spell?
Sure. What's your goal?
They're just trying to see if there is any greater influx of magic in one area over the other. In essence, if this thing is a beast that is both not visible to us at the moment and playing with this thing, I would like to see its true location.
Roll. What did. Oh god. I know that you've used this spell so many times and I should remember. What do we say this CR is?
Oh, I don't remember.
In my head, I say 4, but that feels so high.
4 is fine.
Does 4, does
you
4
pick
still.
whatever number you want.
Does that feel fair?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll say a CR4.
Okay. I'm not spending Benny on this. I've cast this spell before.
We'll drop it to a 3 just because you've cast it before. 4 feels like the standard number.
Okay, well, that's good. I did roll a 4.
That's the lowest I think you've rolled this entire campaign.
Yeah, my dice are, they're cashing out.
You this whatever this is in front of you is definitely magical. There's definitely magic emanating off of it. But you see that it is tied to something else that seems far below.
Interesting, like an anglerfish. Or sandworm? I don't know any other beasts that trick their prey. We should make an attempt to go around and see if it follows us. That will help me narrow down what sort of thing is beneath us.
all right. Very well.
Whatever you say.
Sounds good.
You start in. Are you just like cutting hard left or right and walking in a path and then taking a hard 90-degree turn? Or are you kind of walking in a wide circle around this thing? Like, how are you going about this?
Just a very clear, like, angle move outside of whatever radius this thing seems to be emanating from underground.
It feels almost impossible to get out of this thing's radius.
Okay. So this thing is absolutely massive.
Issa, do you think it wants a sandwich?
I don't think the I don't think those who call the plane home can eat like we do. So I don't think so. But I do
It
have
could still
cookies.
be a nice offer.
I can at least leave a couple of cookies. The sandwiches are more of a meal. Let's leave a
That's
cookie
fair.
or two.
Alistair, I need you to roll me a dodge roll. This is a CR CR9. You can spend movement out. You can spend out of your movement bene if you would like to reduce that.
Sure. Yes, I will. I will spend that.
You can also spend hidden knowledge if you. Well,
You can spend up to 3 bene now.
you can spend up to 3
A
bene.
reminder.
Yes. If you feel like you have
So,
hidden knowledge that you could justify, I would let you spend it.
so I don't know that I have that, but I think if you will allow it, Kian, that it would have made sense for Alistair to have prepared with. I can never pronounce it. Nope, I'm not going to be able to pronounce it. The spell that I have that allows me to be warned before something attacks me.
Very well. I think that that is absolutely fair. That feels very much within character for Alistair to have prepared that. Um, you
So that would
sense.
give me a +2.
Okay.
I
Okay.
would still need to roll, but I would have a +2.
Thank you. So then that would have been at a 9. Are you spending any bene on this?
Yes, 1.
So it drops it to an 8, and then add +2 to your roll. So you need to roll a 6 or higher.
I rolled an 8.
Nice. Very good. You go to take a step as you're following kind of this whatever path that Stellan seems to be laying out. I almost called you Scanlan because I've been watching Critical Role.
No, please. No.
You go to take a step of along whatever this path is that Stellan has laid out for all of you or instructed all of you to start to take. And just before you put your foot down, you take a step back and you look very closely, and there seems to be just a small thorn sticking up out of the ground from where you were. And as you're looking and looking closer, as you're leaning toward it, it shoots up out of the ground at you, and you're able to slip it off to one side very, very quickly. It's attached to this very long, dead, rotted vine that yanks it back into the ground to where it's just the thorn sitting on the head when it doesn't strike its target. The thorn just goes back to sitting on the ground right there. But you are able to successfully avoid this. All of you do see
Guys,
this
there are
happen.
thorns. There are thorns, there are vines, there are things that are not good.
JT, I think you're muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
How about we run instead? Let's pick up the pace.
Hikes up skirts.
Yep, start
Hustle the
running.
bustle.
Hustle the
Um,
bustle.
Are you running in any particular direction? Are you running as a unit? What is the game plan past run? Is there a game plan past run?
I think Stellan is staying behind a little bit intentionally in an attempt to not dissuade, but redirect any extraneous attacks as they bolt.
Okay.
Especially because Carter's injured and is probably not moving particularly quickly. It is our best interest to get everyone out of here alive.
Carter is moving noticeably better thanks to the Chalice of Wheel, so that was definitely a good call because I was giving y'all a busted ass man as soon as he showed up. That was that was not going to go well for him. I need everybody to roll me dodge so you can spend out of your movement bene if you would like to reduce this. This is going to be, we'll put all of these at a CR9 because they are coming at you from out of nowhere.
How many can we spend?
You can spend up to 3.
Spend 2.
Okay, drops it to a 7 for you.
I'll spend 1.
Drops it to a
And
6.
which one are we using for this
Movement.
movement?
I rolled an 8.
We'll drop it to 1, but because Isra already made the protection sign, does that give her any assistance with that?
Yeah, I'll say that it drops at 1 for you based on that.
Okay. Cool.
So
And
7
I have a
for you.
+1, so I'll ride on that and not
Okay.
spend more movement.
Okay.
I rolled a 7, so that was a good call.
Okay. 2 successes.
9.
3 successes.
That was another 8, so that is
Ooh.
the 9 in total.
4 successes. That is phenomenal. You all can start to see now where these thorns are coming up out of the ground. You're starting to notice them a little bit more as you're moving faster and faster. As you're cutting whatever angle it is that you are, this little whatever creature humanoid thing is that's sort of in the middle of this magical radius that you've identified, Stellan, uh, the head turns to follow you in a full 360 and continues to wrap around and continues to just track your movement. You can hear cracking, and it's earlier you were stepping on porcelain. Now the cracking that you're hearing sounds like bone breaking as its head is snapping around and following your location as it's going. Um, Stellan, you are able to you notice that this creature is not moving, but the radius of this thing is getting smaller, almost like it's starting to localize, focus its magic into a smaller and smaller radius as you all are moving. This is going to be a series of checks. So I'm going to do two more rounds of movement checks. But now that you can see what's going on, you can start to see where things are happening. Selen is starting to call things out from behind you. It does get easier. So now the natural CR is going to be sitting at a 7 for everybody. And you can choose to spend Bene if you would like to.
Perfect. 7.
All right, that's an 8.
Hell yeah,
That's
another
a
9.
6.
A 6. Bellamy, one of these thorns just happens to catch you when you're not looking at the exact right moment. You you come to a stop. It doesn't hurt when it strikes you, but you come to a full stop and you're still looking at your team as they're moving and your eyes are looking in their direction, but your body starts to push you toward this humanoid creature as you immediately just start heading toward where this creature is.
Uh,
The rest of the
since
you would see this, Stellan, for sure.
yes, I think Stellan will move to intercept Bellamy, of course. I'm going to use a new feature of the cane, the knife part, because I don't want to cast spells I have to spend money on. In an attempt to sort of cut the connection this thing has with Bellamy.
Uh, you are you trying to remove the vine itself, the one that's like connected?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. Um, go ahead and roll. Oh my god, y'all haven't had to do physical combat like this in so long.
Stellan is not built for it.
I believe that you were going to roll accuracy for this. So go ahead and roll. We'll call this a CR. We'll call it a CR5.
Oh, I have accuracy points. Never mind. I'm gonna spend one Bene to drop it to a 4.
Okay.
Oh my god, that's a 9.
Nice.
Jeepers creepers.
Easy enough. You absolutely do slice right through this. But Bellamy does not stop moving. Bellamy continues toward this humanoid creature.
Okay.
Isra is going to do one of her spells, one of the newer spells that she got.
Okay.
Demon Shriek,
Ooh.
level 3.
What does that do?
I summon an incorporeal demonic entity that physically assaults a nearby being, inflicting one anguish and forcing them to lose their next turn. If the being resists the demon's mental shriek, the negative feedback is channeled to me, and I potentially suffer the damage unless I can resist the spell.
Okay. Very cool. What does it look like when you cast this?
I think Isra is hustling the bustles, um, and she turns to look at Bellamy, and I guess in turn look at the creature, and so in a very worried tone, she just lets out the most harpy like shriek. And you can see from the shriek a wave of kind of like purples and reds. And you could see maybe the figment of something emerging from that shriek heading towards the entity.
You cast this spell. Go ahead and roll. What level is this spell, actually?
Level 3, and the color's pale, if that matters.
You know, I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't know how things would interact, but I would imagine that since you are on the pale sun, the magic is stronger. That would be my best guess.
Yeah,
Um,
I would assume so.
so we're that would make sense to me. So we're gonna bump it to a level 4. Give it a +1 the way that you would on the soothe deck card. Um, Level 4. I'm trying to do this in reverse in my head. Okay, you would still need to roll. Go ahead
Okay.
and roll. The CR is a 4.
Okay.
This is sorcery.
Okay. I'll hold spending for that.
Actually, it's a
7.
CR3.
Oh, well,
Works
7.
either way. Yeah. You cast this spell as this entity starts to take place from this harpy-like shriek that you've let out. This entity starts to take shape, and it flies toward this humanoid creature and latches around it, all four limbs, claws bearing into it. Stellan, you see the magic that this radius was growing smaller and smaller zip over to where this humanoid thing is and sort of latch onto it. The ground beneath all of your feet fractures as all of these little porcelain figurines start to fall through these cracks that are appearing. While it looks like you were in the lair of the dollmaker, this is the dollmaker's graveyard, is where you are. And that is not necessarily the lair of the dollmaker. This is the lair of the screaming oracle. So as you latch on to this creature, the ground starts to fissure and rupture and break. A cavern starts to form, starting at this humanoid creature, spreading slowly outward and outward. Nice. Um, Slowly spreading outward. The humanoid itself is on somewhat of a stalk, it seems like. And if you follow it all the way down, there at the base is this. You once would have called it a human. At one point, you would have said that looks like what a humanoid creature is. At this point, it is this elongated entity. It looks like just muscle and flesh have been sheared from its body. Its entire lower half is embedded into the ground beneath it. It cannot move as it tilts its head back and lets out this awful scream as the screaming oracle is now exposed. But it does do enough. That does do enough to interrupt the concentration that it had on Bellamy. And Bellamy, you are no longer running toward this humanoid creature that now has this demonic entity wrapped around it that Isra has unleashed. You are able to stop and look at the rest of your friends. Now the ground is cracking and falling away beneath you, and you are trying to escape being drawn into the actual hovel where the Screaming Oracle lives. I need everybody to roll. This is going to be a movement. This is a dodge roll just to dodge, not even the thorns or anything. It's just to escape falling into this cavern. We're going to call this a CR5. This is still with movement, Bene, if you would like to spend any.
Yippee.
All right,
8.
that's a 6.
7.
Exactly 5.
8675. Beautiful. All of you are able to
3
back
on
up.
mine.
All of you are able to back up and slowly start to peel yourselves away from this. But now there is this giant cavernous hole in the ground, the screaming oracle at the center, this humanoid entity still writhing with this demon that you have unleashed onto it, hovering above on this stalk as the screaming oracle wails and weeps and shrieks at all of you. It is impossibly large. The quickest way to get to where you're going would be to cut through the cavern itself. And the Screaming Oracle is not quiet, so anything else in the area is now aware of what is going on. It is absolutely able to hear the screams that she is letting out. But for the moment, you all are not under direct attack. What do you do?
Fast way through the caverns. If we go through the caverns, we're going to still be at the behest of this stupid thing. But if we keep going, everything that can hear is probably on its way here right now. Not even trying to mess with our minds. That was just it.
Is there a way to go around?
You can, it's just going to take time. This is a very, very large cavern that has now opened up, and so in order to get to the direction, you'll have to cut all the way across around the cavern itself.
Question.
Mhm.
If I wanted to summon something to envelop us in shadow to at least protect us a bit more so we can make maybe move easier. Would that be influence
What a question. I
or
gotta.
creation? I have new ones. I want to try them.
Um, I would say. So for influence, I don't think that helping you move stealthily would fall under either of these,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Darn. Well, I have up to creation. The only ones I don't have is glorified binding and ally, but I have all the others right now available.
I would say the closest you could get to would be guard.
I kind of figured. Um.
Influence, so it would use a mental attack to sort of control or influence a target. So if you wanted to target the Screaming Oracle itself with some sort of mental attack, that's where influence could come into play. Um, creation is creating an item. If there's something that you
Okay.
need, like if you needed a key or something, you would be able to use that.
Okay. Um. I think I think guard may be the best option at this point. I don't know how powerful the oracle is, uh, so probably can't do much to quiet it as long as we need to. So, being able to shield ourselves is probably the best option for us.
Do you want the answer to that question? Was that a question of you want to know what it is or no?
I would like to know.
She is a level 3.
Oh, well, let's influence her then. Shut the fuck up.
Be quiet.
It's kind of a cool thing. So I kind of wanted to tell you because influence is a really cool way to go about this that I didn't consider.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
that's
Scene.
influence.
you
Um,
what level are you gonna try to cast this at?
4.
Okay. Um, you and what are you influencing it to just be quiet?
I think influence to sleep.
To sleep. Wow, we're doing a lot of sleeping today. Um,
It's her brand.
uh, you need to summon an entity to do this for you because
Hmm.
it is still a summon process.
Hmm.
Um, this would obviously be a very quick summoning because you're a little bit pressed for time. There's a couple of other factors that are, making you feel a little bit rushed right now, understandably so.
Hmm.
Um, what kind of entity are you summoning?
She doesn't know how feasible it is to summon someone that has this space. So, but that she's going to try to her best to reach out to something that has that dream connection to make it at least that type of powerful. Um, I think we're going to keep with the demon theming.
Okay.
We'll do a demon this time.
Okay. Um, this is going to be level 4 summoning for influence. You
Hmm.
are go ahead and roll me. The first roll is a sorcery roll at level 4. So it's a CR4. I'm sorry, I have to talk myself through the way the
You're
goetic
good.
process works. So CR4 for the first roll. That is to cast the spell.
5.
Beautiful. This entity starts to take shape. Um, it begins to slowly pull itself up. Oh, I'm sorry.
You were starting to buffer a little bit.
Oh, okay. My bad. Let me know if it happens again.
Mm.
That makes sense because everybody buffered for me at the same time earlier, and it didn't occur to me that I was the problem. I was like, wow, that's really weird timing. My brain is not on point right now. Um, this entity slowly starts to pull itself together from the dust and from the rocks around as it starts to all come together. Um, it looks like a little it looks like it wanted to be a dragon, but maybe a kid drew it and didn't quite understand what the dimensions were. It looks kind of cute, weirdly enough.
Aw.
It's pretty small, uh, big enough to get the job done, certainly, but slowly starts to come together. Um, how are you going to try and encourage this? Are you going to try and persuade it? Are you going to try to bribe it? What are you going to do to try to convince this entity?
You are a being tied to the dreams, so I present something in actuality to you. A dream made real. And she pulls out, I think it's like a little CD, and on it is a recording of someone that she found in a dream who was terrified of singing in public. But one day she gathered the courage to sing, and it was beautiful. And this is the recording of her performance.
I love that so much. Um, this entity doesn't actually speak, but it is able to understand you, and it kind of chomps eagerly at the disc as though um, just generally excited about what this about what it is that you're presenting. As I'm talking through this, I realized that I did the colloquy the wrong way earlier, so now should have been the roll, and it would have been a 4 minus the object that you're offering, which would have put it at a 2, which you still passed the roll. So we're not even going to re-roll for that because you already did phenomenally there. We're not going to worry about that. Um, but the entity sort of elongates its neck. Its body stays still. Its neck snaps out the way that kind of like those little stretchy, gooey hands do. It kind of snaps out and tries to grab the CD from you. Um, as you're sort of letting it know, well, actually, this is what you have to do first. Um, and eventually starts to understand what exactly it is that you're requesting of it. Um, seems eager enough to please, doesn't even require another level of colloquy from it from a level 4. It seems pretty eager to figure out what exactly it is this dream that you're going to offer, this dream made real that you're going to offer it. Um, in spirit form is the way that influence specifically is described. So this entity kind of turns into a bit of a wisp and becomes smoke and shadow as it glides over. And the closer that it gets to where the core of the Screaming Oracle is, the bigger it becomes. And it doesn't exactly it sort of cloaks itself around her entire entity. Her mouth stays open. She still seems to be screaming, but slowly the shadow begins to fall down her throat, almost as though forcibly quieting her. Um, and her mouth closes and she keeps her head looked up toward the ceiling. The entity on the stalk is still there, still watching all of you with this other demon that you've conjured wrapped around it. Um, for a very brief moment, there is silence that drags into the next moment, that drags into the next.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
It seems that quiet has fallen, and all of you are able to start moving. Are you moving through the cavern, or are you moving around it? What is the plan still?
Through the cavern's going to be faster. I don't know how long your deals last.
I don't know for here. I know that it's a bit stronger, at least for the one wrapped around that one. I'm not sure about the one with the oracle. So let's go.
Through the cavern it is.
Then you all start progressing through. Um, go ahead and roll me just a general. We're just going to call this a movement. This isn't exactly a dodge one. This is just to see how easily everybody moves through. So it's just a what you roll.
That's an 8.
8, 3,
6.
6,
6.
and a 6. Alistair, smooth sailing. You're just trying to get your ass out of here. You're like, I'm fucking over this. I don't want to be in this place right now. Absolutely no problems getting through. Isra and Stellan not moving as quickly, but able to move through pretty well. Bellamy, you are struggling. You're stumbling over things. You're kind of distracted by everything that's going on around you, understandably so. Um, as you all are moving, though, you are able to slowly cross this cavern that the Screaming Oracle calls home. You all have cut your way down and across, and you're crossing over it. The closer that you get to her, the more that you start to hear the sounds that she's making again, and they sound almost like whispers, and she's saying names over and over and over again. Is anybody getting closer to listen, or are you just going to keep walking?
Me, I'm curious.
Stellan, as you get closer, you hear just a litany of different names, and some of them you start to recognize, some of them you don't. Eventually, one says Bellamy, eventually, one says Alistair. It seems that there is no rhyme or reason necessarily to the names that are coming through, but the closer that you get, the more your name starts coming through. You start to hear Stellan, Stellan, Stellan over and over and over again. And you realize that it's not necessarily that she's whispering, but it's almost as though she has screamed so much that her voice has gone hoarse. This is as loud as her voice can possibly produce it. She is still screaming. She is trying to do everything she can to get those names out, and it is not working. But you hear your name over and over, Stellan, Stellan, Stellan. Do you do anything?
Uh, Stellan scoffs, says, "That's not my name," and then moves on.
There is a very brief, Stellan, you would catch it just because of who you are as a person, but almost nobody else would. A very brief pause before it picks back up and says Stellan again, almost as though it tripped and hesitated, but continued on anyway with saying your name. But as you move on, the voice starts to fade. You get farther away from the Screaming Oracle. You're closer to the other side of this cavern. You reach the other side of the cavern wall, and it's mostly shrunken in. Blah. It's mostly sunk in rock, with a curved cliff face, kind of looking at all of you. How do you go about getting up to climb out of the cavern?
Hmm.
I'm wondering um if Candace could help, like go
Sure.
up because she has vines, and
Yeah.
see if she can like go up and like offer us vines to like help us get up.
Absolutely. Candace can absolutely be deployed. I think that's a super easy way to go about it. Um, it takes a little bit of balancing to try to get Candace to get to a spot where she can wedge herself in and deploy the vines without risking being pulled over when one of you starts to climb up, but easy enough to do. Each of you can slowly start making your way up and over the other side of the cavern wall. At this point, you are far enough away from the Screaming Oracle. It does not seem that anything is giving chase. You have a moment to breathe here on the other side. Are you all just continuing on following your path? Is there anything that you do or say to each other as you are continuing to move?
I would expect the next few encounters to be even harder than that.
How many encounters do you think we're going to have?
And yes, there are creatures between us and Bellamy.
Bellamy's right here.
My sibling Bellamy, other Bellamy.
I could call you by your last name if you want me to.
Sure, go ahead.
No, not yet.
No, go ahead. Seriously, it will make it easier.
I think it's clear who I was referring to.
Clearly, not. I'm too tired for this. Yep. Let's go. No, please use Bellamy's last name because I still don't know what it is. Someone tell me.
I don't have it in
No,
front
that's
of
a
me.
mystery mask a tool for later.
I'll message it to you.
M-
Um,
may I call you, well, the name that your sibling gave you? Is that fair enough?
Well, you have that?
No.
No, totally not. Let's keep
What? Let's
walking.
keep walking. You can call me Belle. That's what they called me at school.
That's what I was referring to.
Okay, that. Yep.
you all continue on moving. Um, as you're walking along, Stellan, you two things happen at the same time. First is that Stellan, you hear in your head, there doesn't have to be any more trials if you'll just bring Bellamy to me. At the exact same time that that happens, Alistair, you hear a very familiar voice say to you, I told you I would find you again. As another one of those clawed hands reaches out and grabs on to your shoe. I think that that is a perfect place for us to pause the second to last episode of Blooming in the Rot. We've got one more episode left to wrap up all of these things, which is absolutely wild to me. I don't know how we're going to do it, friends, but we're going to get there, I promise. Um, Thank you all so much for hanging out tonight. Thank you all for coming to partake in this story that we are all telling together. I'm going to hand it over to my cast. We'll go back in overlay order. If you want to let us know who you are and where we can find you, and any projects that you would like to plug that you have coming up now that we're in the new year. We'll start with Knox.
I was good. I did not take a sip out of the third Dr. Pepper. Hi everyone, my name's Noxkitos. My pronouns are she, her, hers. Um, I was Bellamy. Her name's totally Bellamy. You could just call her Belle. Um, and I I do have something this month. I have when's the next session of this?
18th.
2 weeks.
18th. Okay. Then I have hopefully on Monday Queensgate Chronicles. Um, we're gonna hopefully be finishing up our first arc, which is great. I play another plant lady with a cane, and trying to bring somebody back from supposed death because I apparently have a type of character I like to play named Layla, and she's great. She's doing her best. She does sleep more than Bellamy though, so there is that. Um, and then I'm supposed to, I don't know what date yet, going to be partaking in a charity stream, mutual aid stream. I am exhausted. So just follow me on not the hell site, fuck that, but you can follow me on Blue Sky, Nocturnal 7. You can follow me on my Twitch, Nocturnal_7. Because I'm hoping that as I'm getting better, recovering from the seizure brain, that I will be streaming more. Back to you in the studio, Kian. Good night. Drink Dr. Pepper.
And water, but yes, Dr. Pepper too. We'll hand it over to JT.
First, I'd like to be clear: we're not being paid to say drink Dr. Pepper. They wouldn't reach out about the sponsorship. I'm JT. My pronouns are they, them. You can find me at WeebG all over the internet. You can also find me at Entropy Emporium all over the internet. This is technically my channel, and by technically, I mean I have the passwords and sometimes I post the things. That's becoming less true, though. This is going to be the year of Entropy. We have a couple really friggin' cool projects coming up. One which I will not talk about yet because I do not think that they are ready to unveil uh, said information. But the other one I will gladly talk about because it's turned into sort of a dream project for both me and a good friend of mine who is doing all the tech and stuff for it. Uh, we are going to have a shonen themed actual play here on Entropy, debuting hopefully next month called Star Shard. Look out for a teaser for that very soon. Uh, all I could say about this game right now, the set design and the music and the art and everything. This is the most theater oriented actual play I have ever put together. So please come check it out. Um, it is going to be my pet project forever and ever. Um, as for other things I'm doing, my other beautiful brainchild, Beacons, is coming back, I think, next Wednesday to continue Beacons Arc 3, which is the last arc of this particular iteration of Beacons. But I have been told that I'm allowed to do more, and so I will be doing more. Um, that is going to be very exciting, but the finale is fast approaching, and my players are always super ready and very excited. This is our this is my personal toxic doomed Yuri show, and it is becoming more that every single week that we play. Other than that, we have entropy shows. Fall of the Ashen Throne every other Monday. I think that includes next Monday. We also have They Call Us Villains on Tuesdays, every other Tuesday. JD, if I'm not mistaken, next Tuesday, Horror Masks actual play. Every other Thursday, God Complex, which is a Girl by Moonlight Neon Genesis Evangelion inspired uh, GBM campaign run by Will. Fridays are Weird Wilds War, which is run by me. It's a D&D 5e homebrew. A very passionate cast. I love them. And then every other Saturday, including 2 Saturdays from now, the finale of Blooming in the Rot. One of the coolest shows that has been on Entropy thus far. Tied with all of them. In a couple weeks, it will be Entropy's 1 year birthday. So look out for something there if I can get it yanked together in time. Um, but otherwise, you can catch me on the socials.
Thank you kindly, and we'll send it over to Ava.
Hello, my darlings and dears. It's your Madam Ava here. You can find me anywhere at Madam Ava Couture. I'm literally everywhere except for Threads. Don't look for me on Threads. If you see me on Threads, that's not me. In the meantime, in between time, you can either find me on Girls in These Worlds for Roll for Luck, which is usually our homebrew D&D campaign, but right now we're in Vampire Land. That's fun. You can also find me on Exclusive Corpse Presents for our Thursdays for Lesbian campaign set in Arthurian lore. But those are technically on break right now. The next thing you'll find me on is on Howd Haven Studios for a Changeling game. See me fail at Changeling. It's an older system than 5e. It is chaotic. We'll see what happens. I'm playing a spooky lady who likes books. That's all you need to know about me. But yeah, that's really it. Happy New Year. Hope everyone has a decent time. And yeah, that's it. Finger guns, bisexual finger guns.
Thank you, and we'll send it to JD.
Hey, I am JD. I can be found on the internet pretty much everywhere at JD, not Jason Dean. I'm just sticking to like naming things I'm doing in the next week at this point because my schedule is picking up again and getting more than a little chaotic. So tomorrow night I'll be with Live from the Apocalypse for our Masks Actual Play podcast, Academy H, where I am now dealing with the serial killer stalker who I've imbued with death powers. It's fine. We're not going to worry about it. On Tuesday, I will be here, as JT mentioned, for They Call Us Villains, our Horror Masks game. And in that, we are going to be doing a Hallmark movie holiday special. Nothing bad will happen, it'll just be good times all around. Um, I promise. On Wednesday, I will be over with Guild Superior. They are running a 6-part limited series of House of Eidolons, which is a cyberpunk heist game, where I am playing a character with amnesia who has joined this heist crew and is very good at putting on different faces, literally and figuratively. On Thursday, I'll be running Redacted over on Live from the Apocalypse, which is a psychological horror game. They are coming off of their Christmas episode, which was a retelling of A Christmas Carol, with one of the characters in the center of the story and the others playing all of the ghosts visiting them. And then I think I don't have anything until Saturday, when I will be in class reunion over with Live from the Apocalypse, where I play my most normal character who is just an ace non binary ranger who loves their horse. And that is all you need to know about Hunter. They've legitimately done nothing wrong ever in their life.
Just a horse girl, gender neutral. Thank you, JD. And of course, my name is Kian. My pronouns are they, them. You can find me on the interwebs at uptight-chiffon over on Blue Sky. I am going to be in Fall of the Ashen Throne on Monday here on Entropy Emporium. I'll be in They Call Us Villains on Tuesday here on Entropy Emporium. And that is kind of all that I have on my schedule right now are Entropy Emporium things. I've got a couple other projects coming up that I can't yet talk about, including one that is very, 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 very close to being announced. I just need to talk to my player about that one a little bit more, but I am super excited about that game. That's going to be starting later on this month. I'm super stoked about. Um, but yes, that is what I got. I forgot. Um,
Sent you a message about
I
it.
thank you so much because I just saw it. Uh, and I think that's a really good point. Let's spread some support and some love for channels that are playing with diverse casts. So we are going to go send right over to Transplaner, who I believe are doing their community stream tonight. So it is their Chaos Protocol cast, but they are vibing and hanging out and talking about the new year. So go send some love. Go say hello. If you don't know them already, you absolutely should go check out their stuff. It's really, really rad. But yes, other than that, uh, take care of yourselves, be kind to yourselves, each other, and the planet. Do the best you can with what you got. There is a whole lot going on right now in the world. And so we love you. We appreciate you spending your evenings with us. We would not have it any other way. And we will catch you in 2 weeks for the finale of Blooming in the Rot, our Invisible Sun actual play. Catch you next time, everybody. See you later. And where's the button? I always lose the button. Stream ending.